All right. All right, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to another edition of Marilyn's Cafe Society radio show. All right, here on YouTube. And of course, it's April. It's the first show in the month of April, and we are celebrating 16 years of being on the air. And, time flies when you're having fun. Of course, the first 13 years were on radio, and these last 3 years have been on YouTube. I've been finding my way around YouTube, you all, and I thank you so much for hanging in there with me as I figure all of this exciting technology out. Now, of course, the show is going to be a bit short today. We do have a special guest who's waiting in the green room. We're going to bring him in momentarily and start the show. In the mean and between time, I, of course, wanted to share that I've just rushed back from a press conference. For those who've been on the blog, you know that I blogged about a terrible crime that happened against my young friend Jazz Evans, and I blogged about it this week. The family, along with their attorney, just wrapped up a press conference. I'll come back on another show to share more of what happened at the press conference and more of the details of the incident um, that happened, that brutal attack against Jazz Evans. In the mean in between time, however, as I said, we're going to pull up the show, pull up our guest, and get started with him. Let's go ahead and bring him on. All right. Let's see, where are you? Are you there? Okay, they're connecting. All right, it's taking a minute, everyone. Thank you for your patience. Thanks for hanging on in there. While while he's connecting, we'll go ahead and get him properly introduced to you all. And of course, his name is Carl Brister, and he's a singer and a songwriter. And of course, he has gained national attention with his music. He's been featured on NBC, BET, Pandora, Music Choice, Spotify, and so many other music platforms. He calls his style of music unique. It's consists of elements of soul and R&B and pop and dance, um, and what is called a retro fusion. He says that the music takes you back while moving you forward. And so I want to thank you all, or ask you all to join me in welcoming and thanking Carl for joining us here on the show today. Carl, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. My pleasure. Um, I tell you, this technology is something else, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's great though.
It is. It is. Once we master it and work through all the kinks, it is a wonderful thing. Look, you're at on the East Coast. I'm here in the Midwest, and we're connected. Video, no longer out there phoners. We can actually do video interviews now. This is
All
great.
right. So what part of the Midwest are you?
Chicago.
All right. ShotTown, what's up?
Yeah, Chicago, Chicago. So listen, I know you're a problem solver, so I have a question for you, Carl. If I
Uh-oh.
have 10 chocolate cakes and someone asks for two, how in the world would it be possible for me to still have 10 cakes left?
Well, is it red velvet chocolate?
Or German chocolate, right?
Yeah, no, it's gonna be a problem either way. But if it's red velvet, I'm gonna have 10. Yeah,
Exactly, exactly.
and somebody might get cut. No, just kidding.
There you go. That's where that selfishness comes in. We just will not be sharing that day, right?
We won't. Not if it's red velvet. We won't.
Yeah, and so we'll still end up with our 10 cakes left. Now, I tell you, you problem solve, you teach problem solving in real life. How did you develop this interest in mathematics and even science?
Well, it's crazy. Coming up, I was good academically, but when the math started getting what we call abstract and we start using variables, I had a lot of challenges. And I think, even through college, I needed to get, to those study groups and go in for those extra hours of help. And I think I take that into the classroom and I
Yeah,
can relate. It helps me to relate to the kids, that are also struggling, because I've been exactly where they are.
got
And it
it.
helps me to teach them, in that way.
So you were one of those kids. You didn't want the numbers and the letters confusing you. You decided to tackle it and take that challenge on, and that's how you kind of embraced math.
Yeah, again, like I had this professor actually who would take his time and slow down and just go back to the beginning and work with you until you got it. So for me, that helped me to appreciate what I was looking at and helped me to understand it the way I needed to.
Yeah, when I was in elementary school, K through 5, math was a breeze. And
Right.
it's like when I hit, I mean, I was the A student, and then when I hit middle school, it was
Yeah.
almost as if I was learning French. You know what I mean? And so I kind
Yeah.
of struggled in middle school with math, and I guess that's because I was being introduced to algebra and geometry, and
Right. Right.
I became like a C student. I think a couple semesters I got racked in some D's, And by the time I hit high school, however, as you just shared, I had a teacher who understood my pain, and and he was able to break it down to where you know I was asking myself, how did this seem so confusing to me? He made it seem so easy.
Yeah, shout out to the teachers that know how to do what we call differentiate. They know
Hmm.
how to they know how to teach people who learn differently. Some people learn visually, some people learn tactily, they need to learn auditory wise, and some people need all of that. They
Yeah,
need to touch things. They need to break it down into real things that I can relate to.
that's
And those teachers that get that are the ones that you remember for life.
And I do. I remember him because I'm telling you, once I had maybe a month or two of lunches, with him, special tutoring sessions with him, and I have to credit some of the a few of the other kids who were in there with me. Hey, it was a breeze again. It was mathematics and algebra was a breeze again. Yeah.
I hear you. And we use it every day in life. And so it's really important that we hang in there with our kids and try to do our best to get them to master some aspect of it because it's all going to come back later.
Yeah, and over the years, I've been in the classrooms as a substitute, long-term substitute teacher, in the same building for 6 years. And so, what I started telling those children, Carl, was, listen, these are just numbers and letters. And who created numbers and letters? Man did. human beings
Okay.
did, through our Heavenly Father. So we can master this, if we created it, we can learn it and master it.
Yeah. And the thing is that everybody learns differently.
Yes,
And everyone learns in their own time.
yes,
So we
yes,
we break things down, which is like by this age and this grade, you should know this, and by this age and this grade, you should know that. But
yes.
that's not real life. That's
But
that's just not real life.
this
You
is
know,
so,
it might take 2 grades or the time length of 2 grades for you to totally get it. Um, and that's okay too.
yes.
That's
There's
okay
nothing,
too.
there's nothing wrong with that. And I hate that they've created these labels for children who may be quote unquote delayed and this framework that you say has been set up, first grade, you're 5 and 6, so you should be doing this. Second grade, you're 7, so you should be doing this. There is no, I mean, man has established these this framework, but like you said, there's just no we can't put a whole lot of give it a whole lot of credence because everyone is different. And so we shouldn't be
Right.
treating it as a negative, right, Carl?
No, absolutely not. You know, it's not finite. It's not it's a guide. And we do need a guide. You
Hmm.
know, by high school, we do expect that you know your ABCs. You know, I mean, you need a guide.
There are
Um,
standards, these state standards, right?
right, but we have to understand that everyone learns and in their own time, and we do have to give kids time. We have
Okay.
to give them time. Um, and they'll be all right.
Well, you seem like you are a wonderful teacher. I bet your students just love you.
Oh, I
Yeah.
got a bridge. I got a bridge if you want one.
And so, it seems like you really enjoy being this problem solver, this math instructor and science instructor, and you even have your own organization that you've created to even help children more, called the Music Village, which I'm sure benefits children and families, and that's funny how when you think about it, and I know you know this and probably can explain it better too, that music and math has a connection.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So the connection, you know, it's different in different scenarios. Uh, and what I try to do is find ways to get the kids interested. It's
Mhm.
just getting them interested. So if I know that they enjoy hip hop and I know there's certain artists that they might stand out, you know, I can very easily relate their rhymes and their lyrical flow to rhythmic measures and cadences. And then, so like right now, say every rapper is using what we call triplets. It's like da 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 da. They're fitting thirds into whole measures, and
Okay,
then we could talk about that. What are thirds? How many,
got
you know, or fourths? How
got
many how many beats in a measure? And what, you know, and so we can sort of use the music as a starting point and then launch into the topic at hand, but with them, you know, they're coming with you and they're seeing how they can apply it to things that they enjoy.
that is awesome. That is awesome. And so with all of that you have going on and that strong love for children and teaching and so forth, how do you find time to still make music, Carl?
Yeah, you know, so I fit everything in around music.
Mm-hmm.
I don't, I try not to fit my music in around other things. So my music, I was next to my faith and my family. my music is first.
Yes.
I'm an artist, I'm a songwriter, a singer who teaches. And
Ah,
so,
there you
yeah, so
go.
all of, teaching does demand quite a bit of your time outside of the classroom, but I'm always knowing that my first priority is my music. So I'm writing, I'm going to the studio. If I have to be in the studio till 2, 3 in the morning, that's first. And um, I just make sure that I'm present for the teaching and the students. But I always know even the teaching will flow better if I'm doing what I love, which is
Oh,
music.
isn't that something? That's your joy. That's your joy. And so,
Yes.
yeah, I can imagine God giving you a song and then you setting it aside and saying, okay, I'll record that when I get to it. You got to get it
Right.
done, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's been many times where um, I'm I'm singing into my cell phone the melodies that I'm hearing.
Hmm.
Um, it's just everything else flows around my passion, and
Oh, that's
music
beautiful.
is my passion.
That's beautiful. And so, of course, you have a new single. Speaking of songs, you have a new single that's entitled L.O.V.E. Love. And I'm just going to play a little bit of it. This is the remix version of it. Can you hear it?
Yes.
But I ain't got the answer. So maybe you can help a brother out in your life. Like, why can't we stop each other? You're my brother. Can we find a way? Cause this love ain't you know, and I guess, Carl, you've answered this question in the song, but my next question is why on earth would you call a song love? I mean, it's not like love is missing right now on earth, is it?
No, I would say it's I think we've moved away from it
Yeah.
in many situations. It's here. It's been here since the beginning of time.
Yes.
But are we operating in it? That's another story. And so I just felt like with a lot of the things that's going on right now, the choice has been to not function in love, to not treat one another in a loving manner. And if we could at least get back to that, we could begin to address all of the issues that do need to be addressed. But it must start with love.
Yeah, I said that facetiously because we all know that we need more love right now. It's a trying time, and quite frankly, it always has been, but we have these crescendo moments in life that really show us how far from love we've ventured. George Floyd, all these hate crimes. I don't know if you heard me at the top of the show while you were in the green room, but a young lady who was a guest on my show 10 years ago. Um, she was an athlete and she also, had the microphone trying to rap, but she donated her time and a song that she and her father and sister produced to this event that I was having to raise donations and money for a charitable event, well, for people. And so, um, just this past weekend, Easter weekend, she was brutally attacked and beaten. And
Wow.
it was a hate crime. It was because of her race. And so, again, like I said, we have those crescendo moments in life that bring us to remembrance of where we are, where a lot of people are in this country and around the world, and in terms of just being so hate filled. And so to have you uh, produce and write and create this song, LOVE, and then it's got a nice little beat to it. It really is a feel good song. And it is something that is needed at this time.
Yeah, thank you so much. Definitely want to keep that young young lady, an artist in prayer. I'm so that's disheartening,
Yes.
to hear these stories that continue to happen. And I think it's really important that we're not saying that this is a kumbaya moment and life is perfect right now. But I
Mhm.
think what we're trying to say is that in the midst of all that we are still dealing with, it's love that will be the deciding factor of whether we move forward or stay the same and or regress. Um,
Mhm.
Martin Luther King has a quote or had a quote, and he said, "Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that." And
Mhm.
so hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that.
Mhm.
And so I am the first to encourage everyone to stand up, declare our worth, our value, our rights, and fight for them. I'm also at the head of the line when um, I just try to encourage that while we do that, that we continue to love,
Mhm.
that we don't let the hate transform our hearts, but we
Yeah.
fight that hate with love.
Yes. 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 And for goodness sakes, people, God is love. Jesus is love, and so, if you don't draw on anything else, you prayerfully you can just draw on that fact, that truth, that God is love, and he created this earth, the universe, the human beings in love. And so if we can just if we can just do it, like you said, just do it. And thanks to artists like you who create these songs and music to remind us, that we have it in us to do it, to show love, to be love, then certainly I think we can win um, in this seemingly um, war of hate versus love, or love versus hate.
And it's not I'm not here to say that it's easy. And by
Yes,
no means is it easy.
yes,
Um, but we all can do what we can do in our communities, in our homes. And I'm a singer, I'm an artist, I'm a songwriter. What I could do was share my heart through the music.
yeah,
And what I also have done in my community through a nonprofit organization that I've founded called Music Village, as you mentioned, was
yeah,
start a loving unity fest here where
yes,
I'm at on the East Coast. And
yes,
it's a day after the murders of Eric Gardner and Philando Castile and Alton Sterling. I felt like what was missing in all three scenarios and all the others is love.
mm,
And so to try to do what I could do in my own community to see if I could be a part of the solution was bring artists together of different genres, all different backgrounds and cultures, and come together through music. Because I know music brings people together.
yeah,
And just a day of love, one another, just a day to value and appreciate each other through the music, learn about our cultures, and have information available on how people can get involved in the community for change. And
yes,
this has been going on now for this is the 6th year.
Okay.
Last year we had Robert Cool Bell as our
Yeah.
honoree.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he made an appearance, and this year will be in September, and we're going to continue to do what we can do in our own communities, and let's just keep moving forward for change.
So Carl, did you have to go virtual with this, or were you still able to pull it off?
Last year, we went virtual.
Okay.
So yeah, with the pandemic, and so with the vaccines coming out now, and we decided to look at September as a way to do it safely with social distancing, and it will also be virtual at the same time.
So is it like a 1 day event, a 2 day event, or how's it set up?
It's a 1 day event,
Okay.
from 12 till 5,
Okay.
where artists will be performing throughout. We'll have uh, stakeholders in the community to share their thoughts on love for one another and what we are doing to improve the community and how people can get involved. And
Awesome.
we have rides, for the kids. We're going to look at how we can do that social distance, and safely,
Mm.
and a cultural village where vendors and students can set up displays to share about their backgrounds and cultures so people can learn and grow.
That's fantastic. That sounds like a fun event, and I'm sure that the vibe is all positive, with that spirit of love and unity happening. So it sounds like a great thing. I wish you much more continued success with it.
And thank you. Well, we gotta now we gotta connect with ShotTown because it's virtual, and we gotta
Mm.
make this happen.
That's a plus if we have to, obviously the pandemic is not a good thing, but if we have to pull and try to find some positives, it is the fact that we can connect, you know worldwide now, actually, with people.
Yes, last year we had an artist from Liberia perform.
Ooh,
Um, yeah, so we're reaching out
yes.
with this message of LOVE, love.
I tell you, and we do need it. And I'm telling you, this talk with you, Carl, has been all love. I thank you so much for stopping by. Now, did you have any closing remarks before I let you go?
Well, if you'd like to get more information on my music, you can go to carlbrister.com. That's CarlBrister.com. That's
Yes.
my website. I'm on all of the social media platforms, IG and Facebook at Carl Brister Official, and Twitter and YouTube at Carl Brister. Um, Subscribe to my YouTube channel, and you'll see everything as it happens. And really, I just want to encourage everybody, with those three words: love never fails. And
Exactly.
it's not easy. I don't advocate that it's easy, but know, I do know by faith from God's word to us that the one thing that will not fail is love. If we keep love in the midst of everything that we are doing, we will win.
Love wins every time. And that is a truth. That is a truth. Wow. Well, listen, Carl, it has been wonderful speaking with you. Everyone, I will make sure that I put those links in the comment section under this video on YouTube. So you'll be able to click and show Carl some love.
Thank
And
you.
of course, yeah. So thank you, Carl, for stopping by. Keep spreading that love, keep solving those problems, and teaching and loving on those young people.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And I
All right.
appreciate you.
Yeah. All right. You continue to have a great rest of the day and week, and we'll be talking again, I'm sure.
Awesome. Thank you. Have a great day.
All right. Peace, Carl.
Peace.
All right, everybody. Carl Brister stopping by the Cafe Society to spread some love. And um, again, I'll get to all of his links in the comment section of this video so that you can find his music and show him some support and show him some love. All right. All right. Well, real quick, I guess what I'll do now is just kind of backtrack and share with you the latest reports on John Hopkins. Now, I think I said this at the top of the show when I first opened, but I'll just say it again as a reminder. April marks the 16th year anniversary of Maryland's Cafe Society. Of course, the first 13 years being on the radio and the last 3 years here on YouTube. And so, what I've decided to do rather than just come to you guys once a week on a Saturday, I am going to be coming to you guys on a more regular basis. Now, you'll get me at least once a week. It depends on what I have going on. You know that I'm involved in a lot of other things, and I have other commitments and work and things of that nature. So, I promise you at least once a week, but you'll more than likely see me more than once a week. Um, Starting this month for the 16th year anniversary of Maryland's Cafe Society. And, I'll just talk about my journey as well, getting the show. I'll talk about those years prior to the Cafe Society, my years in radio prior to the Cafe Society, and then, of course, bring you up to speed with the last 16 years. But anyway, I did want to just backtrack and go to the update on the coronavirus coming from John Hopkins. They're reporting now globally that there's about 133 million COVID-19 cases, um, just under 2.9 million deaths. Here in the United States, it's being reported that there's 31 million confirmed cases now, and we're hovering around 560,000 deaths. And those numbers are dropping. Although at the same time, you've been hearing across the country, I think two-thirds of the states here in the United States are reporting slight upticks in cases, but not in deaths. So that's a good thing, right? All right, and then of course, the U.S. Labor Department just released their report, which says that the initial unemployment claims that were filed last week increased to 744,000, which is 16,000 more than the week prior. So, you know, slightly more people have become unemployed in the last week or so, but not a lot. So, at the end of the day, I think it's safe to say that we are turning that corner. I'll keep saying it because I truly believe it. And I want you guys to believe it and continue to do those things that we need to do to make sure that we are, in fact, turning the corner. All right. So that's that. Now, real quick, I want to remind you we're in a new month. So we do have a new word for the month of April, and that word is cast. Cast. And I and it's more than a word, it's actually a phenomenon. But I'll give you the definition so that you can, learn this word. And my goal is to do a segment on this whole concept of caste systems. But caste is a system of um, dividing groups of people or society into hereditary, social, or privileged classes. All right. So it's because of the climate that we're living in on planet Earth, specifically here in the United States, with all the racism and hate and things of that nature, because that's all happening. Undermining all of that is also the caste system. And, India is where it's very prevalent and real. But other countries have over the hundreds and thousands of years adopted some of those principles of the caste system. And so we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it in the coming weeks, more about it. But that is our new word for the month of April, caste. All right, caste, and it's spelled Caste. It looks like it should be pronounced caste, but it's not. It's caste. It's pronounced caste. Caste, a system of dividing groups of people or society into hereditary, social, or privileged classes. All right. And how are you doing with last month's word, paladin? Paladin. Have you been an advocate, a defender, a hero of a noble cause? I hope so. And continue to do that. All right. All right, and let's see. I just want to remind you guys once again, if you have something that you want to promote, your business, your service, your music, your book, products, whatever, want to help out with the Christmas giveaway segments that we start in October, just send an email to producer at marilynscafesociety.com. Producer at marilynscafesociety.com. Remember to check out the website, marilynscafesociety.com. I know the video link is broken and I'm working on it. I'm trying to get it repaired. I'm not a tech person to the extent where I build websites, but I can put one together. And so now I'm trying to figure out how to get that video page back on the website. I'm working on it. So bear with me on that. All right. But there on the website, you will find the links to my Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all of that as well, including the blog. And of course, be sure to like, subscribe, and share. And of course, we're just going to end with what love is. And on this show, we'll end with love is love. How about that? Love is love. It's been all about love. And so, just want to remind you, if you don't do anything else, until the next time we meet, be sure that you live, you laugh, and you love as always. It's a pleasure and a privilege to come to you all. And we'll talk again in a day or two. Peace, everybody. Take care.